There are 96 days left in the year. Good morning, MB, guiding you through In the Know at K105. On Litchfield's Country Station, 1039 The Moose, live online at K105.com, via the Apple and Android smartphone app using the SoundCloud, iTunes, or Spotify podcast, on Facebook, on YouTube, on the platform formerly known as Twitter, and the hashtag is In the Know. Coming up today, we'll update you on the latest news headlines from around the community, the county, the Commonwealth, and the country. We will also have a Cougar Sports Report getting you ready for the Cougars' trip to Glasgow tonight and a look back on the weekend Cougar Sports. We've got that and a whole lot more coming up today here on In the Know. He is the five-time winner of the coveted Ohio Newshawk Award. He's a two-time Silver Sound nominee, covering every corner of the globe: London, Budapest, Rio, Tokyo, and even Litchfield. He's Sam Gormley and the sports. Morning, Sam.
Morning, Ralph.
How you doing?
Not too bad. How are you?
I'm okay. You and I are down a person today. Beej is on Grana duty today because of a daycare and an illness issue. So she got called away today. So that's okay. But we'll make the most of it. I've been up early watching the Ryder Cup. You watched any Ryder Cup so far today?
No. Not any of it.
You're not missing anything. After the first two shots for the Americans, it's pretty much been downhill since then. The European team hasn't won the opening session on American soil since 2004, and it looks like they're on the verge of doing that. They're up basically beyond comeback in three matches, and the Americans are up by two holes on one match. So they're going to have to get things together as they head into this first weekend of fall. I had put some long sleeves on today in the form of a pullover. It was about 56 degrees when I got up this morning, and so it will feel like a nice first weekend of fall. Some things that people might be doing. They surveyed about 5,000 people on the favorite things that they like about the season of fall. Switching to the cozy wardrobe was one. Crunchy leaves underfoot was one. The sound of rain while you're indoors. I do like that, but I get tired of it. You know, if it does too much of it, it's like, okay, I need that to go away. But I do like the sound of it.
Oh, no. See, if I'm indoors, I could go for that all the time.
Yeah, you could listen to it rain all the time?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess it's more of a thing of...
See, I got like the metal aluminum roof, too, so the sound is perfect.
Okay. Well, if it rains too much, though, I guess it's dampening my experience outside because it'll be too muddy. So I guess I'm
That's why I said when I'm inside, I'm fine.
A balance. The golden hour light hitting the trees, this time of year, because of the coloring of the leaves, that when the sunshine sets and hits at a certain angle, it certainly pops this time of year. Getting into bed early just because it's dark. It's getting darker a little bit early every day, at least until the time changes. Swapping salads for stews. Do you like salad better or stew better, like chilies and stews, soups?
I guess probably the latter.
You like the latter. Wearing thick socks, the smell of cinnamon and nutmeg, cozy evenings with board games or puzzles, guilt-free Netflix marathons, when the weather's not too nice outside. Like, well, got to stay inside and do something. Seeing your breath in the morning and then decorating your home with autumnal colors. Those are the things that people like the most about fall. Some of the things you might be doing on this first weekend of fall. It's going to be sunny and pleasant throughout. We have had some dense fog this morning that we've had to look out for and work around. We're going to stay sunny and a few degrees warmer this weekend. For the longer term, next week looks mainly dry for now, but we are watching what's going to move into the Atlantic, the Imelda. When it comes up through the Atlantic, we may get some remnants of that in our weather picture for next week. But we're going to see mostly sunny skies, a high of 79 today, mostly clear, low of 59 tonight, mostly sunny and a high of 82 for your Saturday. We'll step up to 84 on Sunday, followed by 83, 82, 81, 80, and then upper 70s. Looks like heading into next weekend. But I would imagine it's going to be a very dynamic situation later in the week, based upon whatever happens in the Carolinas and up the eastern seaboard with Imelda, which will be moving through the area. Some young people and I guess older people who like TikTok got some good news yesterday. The president signed an executive order that he says will allow TikTok to continue operating in the U.S. in a way that meets national security concerns. His order will enable American-led group of investors to buy the app from China's ByteDance, though the deal is not yet finalized and China has to sign off on it. The vice president said there was some resistance from China initially, but the fundamental thing was that they wanted to accomplish was they wanted to keep TikTok operating, but that they also wanted to make sure that it protected Americans' data privacy and as required by law. He said that he wanted to put, he being the vice president, said that he was wanting to put Americans in a position of more confidence in using the app, that they didn't have to be suspect of wondering, well, what's going on with my data whenever I use that. Asked if he'd want the U.S.-owned TikTok algorithm to suggest more content promoting the Make America Great Again movement, he laughed and said, well, 100% MAGA, but he said that won't fly. So it's obviously not going to be that way. They're going to entrust it, I suppose, to this group of investors, the Larry Ellison and Oracle and some of the big wigs in the tech world to be the good stewards of TikTok. We haven't talked much this week about the man who fired on that ICE facility down in Texas. He apparently hated the U.S. government and he sought to kill federal agents, but he didn't kill any. Matter of fact, he killed a detainee. The shooting happened at daybreak Wednesday morning, targeting the ICE office building. And one detainee was killed. 2 others were critically wounded. No ICE personnel were hurt. And I believe it was a self-inflicted gunshot wound that ended the life of that man down there. Yesterday, late in the day, in the news cycle, it was announced that ex-FBI Director James Comey was indicted after President Trump had pushed for prosecution of his longtime foe. He apparently will turn himself in sometime today, I guess, for formal processing, and then he'll be obviously released. But his charge is lying to Congress in a criminal case filed AG Bondi to look further into this. So I guess it'll be interesting to see if this is a sign of things to come, because there are some others like John Bolton and some others that they believe willfully lied to Congress. Will he be convicted? Probably not, but he's at least indicted at this point. And the statute of limitations was about to run out on that. I think next week was one of the reasons they had to act now. I thought it was interesting how quickly we forget. I saw a person late yesterday afternoon who was not politically aligned with President Trump and said, you should be careful because someday someone may do this to you, to which I had to chuckle. And I don't know how many indictments Donald Trump has undergone as a result of his political ideology, but doesn't seem like that would be new to him if it happened. A guy that he doesn't typically get on with the best, Congressman Thomas Massie, feels like he's going to get primaried. He has completed a tour this week of his district, and he has had a wingman at his side, and that is none other than Kentucky Senator Rand Paul. He's kind of helping to show the maverick congressman trying to fend off a challenge that President Trump is attempting to oust him from Congress. He is running headlong into his toughest political fight that he has had through the years. There's a super PAC in that area of the state that is MAGA oriented, and they're trying to spend a bunch of money to unseat Thomas Massie. But he spent a couple of days with Rand Paul swinging through his district, and they're more libertarian in nature than maybe just middle of the road conservative Republicans. He he poked fun at himself and poked fun at the president. They've been at odds with one another various times. He impersonated the president once when he was recounting a conversation that they had had. He said, and he did go on to say of the president, he said, he's probably the best president we've had in my lifetime, is what Thomas Massie said. But he continued on. He said, but I think he's wrong on policy, or if I think one of his cabinet members has misled him on policy and they want us to vote on something, I will speak up if I don't think it's following the Constitution. And that's one of the things that I appreciate about Congressman Massie and Senator Paul and anyone else in Congress. that don't just always toe the party line just because it's the party line. Be engaged and do the research. And if you're off track on something, be willing to stand up and say, "Hey, we're off track on this. We need to go a different direction." And so, just because it lines up with the talking points that someone has issued, I would like a little more independence of our legislators and leaders at all levels, for that matter. So, anyway, Congressman Massey finishing a little tour of his congressional district. There was a really bad fatality in Hart County yesterday involving a teen who collided with the rear of a semi. At the time that I got ready to come in the studio, I didn't have details on that yet. And then there was a really bad accident on Rock Crusher Hill yesterday, US 62 in the afternoon, that I had not seen details on yet as well. A babysitter for a child who drowned in Logan County has been convicted in the toddler's death. 31-year-old Lindsay Dover of Russellville was found guilty yesterday of second-degree manslaughter in the July 10, 2024 death of the 2-year-old girl. Trial testimony showed that Dover allowed the child to wander away from the home while she was on the phone. The jury deliberated for less than an hour before reaching a guilty verdict. The jury recommended the maximum 10-year sentence, and she will be formally sentenced on October 30th. I was started to see this yesterday afternoon, and I had so many questions. A member of the Campbellsville University kayak fishing team has gone missing at a fishing tournament in Texas. 21-year-old Peyton Hughes of Springfield went missing Wednesday on Toledo Bend Lake in Hemp Hill, Texas. One of his teammates alerted authorities after Hughes failed to check in at a designated location while he was pre-fishing solo in preparation for the tournament. His kayak has been found, according to the statement from the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department. He's 21 years of age, a student enrolled at Campbellsville University, and he was pre-fishing for the Bassmaster Kayak Series event when he was reported missing. I have never heard of kayak fishing, and certainly at the collegiate level, I didn't even know that this was a sport. So that was the first thing that took me a little bit by surprise. But they have no other information at this time on what happened and how he got separated from his kayak. Attorney General Russ Coleman has issued a formal opinion affirming that a pharmacy benefit manager reform law passed in 2024 by the General Assembly is enforceable to protect Kentucky patients and pharmacies. Senate Bill 188 was sponsored by Max Wise from Campbellsville, passed the Senate 35-1 and the House 97-0 before being signed into law. It was designed to crack down on PBM practices that steer patients to affiliated pharmacies and extend fair market protections to the commercial market. It was built on Wise's 2020 reforms in Senate Bill 50, which created a single state-managed PBM for Medicaid and banned spread pricing, steering, and hidden fees. But in February, the Beshear administration, the Department of Insurance, claimed portions of the law were unenforceable and refused to apply anti-steering protections and would not regulate out-of-state PBMs. Not an expert on the subject, but basically they said, hey, we're not going to enforce this portion of the law. And so then the Pharmacist Association disputed the interpretation. And then in June, the sponsor of the bill, Max Wise, asked the Attorney General to get into it and issue an opinion on it. And he says that it is legal. So that's good news for independent pharmacies is the entire point of the takeaway from that story. 4 people were injured in a chemical explosion at a dairy facility in Laurel County. The London Fire Department said firefighters responded at 7 o'clock Wednesday morning to a chemical release and explosion at Borden Dairy Company on Highway 80 near London. The chemical involved was identified as Hyperflex, which is an acid sanitizer, which contains phosphoric and nitric acid, according to the fire department. And so they had some chemical vapor burns, etc., that they had to look out for. As the men's basketball, we're 2 weeks from tomorrow from Big Blue Madness at Rupp Arena. Dates have been set, but now times are coming into vision for the schedule. The exhibition game against Purdue has been set for 6 p.m. on the SEC network. I presume that's going to be 5 o'clock Central Time. Other times that were announced this week, It's going to be a night game against Michigan State on November 18th in the State Farm Champions Classic in New York. It'll be the early game of the two because it's the 6:30
It's
tip.
been a while since we've been the early game.
Yeah. It's and probably I don't know what the other matchup is, but it's probably
Duke, Kansas.
Yeah, and that's a nationally that's a better game than Kentucky and Michigan State. I'm not entirely
Yeah,
sure.
well, I'm not denying that. I'm much more just making a comment. Michigan State pretty much is always in that first game.
Yeah, without a doubt. And so that would, I know you've got to be a champion to be in there, but there are other champions other than Michigan State, and I'm not so sure that they deserve to remain in the Champions Classic. However, it has been a long time since we have won a championship as well, so you could probably make a very similar argument. But I do think that the Kentucky brand remains pretty popular. The Wildcats will play the final game of the day in the ACC SEC Challenge with North Carolina December 2nd. So that game won't start until 8:30 Central Time, if then, on that night.
As someone who has a Lady Cougar basketball game that day, I am quite excited that it's a late game because that
You're
means I'll
happy
actually
for
be able to watch some of it.
Hey, I heard the idea floated this week on KSR about maybe that night that should be the night that Tayshaun Prince's jersey gets hung in the rafters at Rupp. I think that would be awesome.
Probably, yeah. Tough to find a better night to do it than that one.
Yeah, I don't think you could find a better night considering the anniversary of when that happened, when we made those 5 threes and some from the, I guess one from the logo against North Carolina. I remember listening to it. I mean, I remember watching a lot of games, but in that particular game, I remember listening to it very vividly in the way that it was called, and a memory that I'll have forever. 3 days after the ACC SEC Challenge, they will take on Gonzaga. That's December 5th. That will be a night game at Bridgestone Arena in Nashville. The showdown against
And I'll be able to listen to that game too because the Cougars don't tip off for another like 8 hours after that game because that's the night of the where we're going to be burning midnight oil.
Grayson County will then probably have to preempt the UK postgame.
Heck, I'd probably have time to go down to Nashville, watch the game, and drive up from Nashville to Marshall County and probably still make it.
You might very well. Indiana will be at 7:30 on December 13th at Rupp Arena. A week later, they'll face Rick Pitino and St. John's in the CBS Sports Classic down in Atlanta. That's going to be a 11:30 a.m. start that day. And they will face Tennessee Tech at 7 p.m. on November the 26th.
What day did you say the Pitino game was?
It says there will be December 20th.
Okay. I had a schedule in front of me, so I was looking, because that's usually a game I never get to watch because we're always doing basketball. So I was curious if I'd be able to watch it or not, and I don't know yet.
Yeah, it sounds like the times of some of these games are a little different, including like the Champions Classic one, et cetera. So I don't know. It's a schedule shaping up. Man, it'll be here before we know it, without a doubt. All right, when we come back, Sam and I will get into your Cougar Sports Report. Cougars go on the road in football tonight, but it's been a busy weekend in sports. A busy weekend sports. We'll tell you about that and more coming up here on In the Know.
At Owensboro Health Family Medicine in Litchfield, Dr. Priyank Chauhan provides compassionate care for adults and seniors. Board certified in internal and geriatric medicine, he's dedicated to managing chronic conditions, preserving independence, and enhancing the quality of life. Proudly serving Grayson County because your health matters. Schedule today. Call Owensboro Health Family Medicine in Litchfield at 270-259-8888.
Thinking about furthering your education? At Elizabethtown Community and Technical College, you'll get a high-quality education, close to home, at a cost that won't break the bank. Enjoy small class sizes with professors who take a personal interest in your success. Scholarships are still available, making our low tuition even more affordable. ECTC's Litchfield campus is now enrolling for classes that start October 20th. Visit elizabethtown.kctcs.edu to get started. ECTC, college for the real world.
Fall in Kentucky isn't just football season. It's hunting season. It's fishing season. It's game time outdoors. Get your license, permits, and all you need at fw.ky.gov. Sponsored by the Kentucky Department of Fish and Wildlife.
Swarm season. It's here. Will bug problems drive you crazy this year? Litchfield Exterminating are reversal experts. In other words, we drive bugs crazy. Via bugology hypnology, we create tiny pest zombies. Just call us Litchfield Hypnobugologists. Say it 5 times, and all your problems will still be there. Since zombie bugs aren't in demand, call the #1 service in South Central Kentucky, Litchfield Exterminating.
Call Litchfield Exterminating 259-6285.
Hi, I'm Bob with Hometown Hangout Sports Pub and Grill. You might have noticed we don't have fancy decor or celebrity chefs. It's true, we've ignored the trend of upscale dining and extravagant renovations. That gets pretty expensive, you know. And in the end, it's the customer who pays for those upgrades. Not at Hometown Hangout. Our guests come to us for one thing, to have a great time. Whether you're with the family, the whole team, or just friends, you'll love our fun atmosphere, exciting games, and great food. Hometown Hangout on West White Oak. See you after the game.
Okay, babe, this new home insurance, I'm bugging out.
Why did you say buggin'? Ah! And why are you bugging?
I don't know what I'm doing. Why aren't you bugging?
Because we just need a State Farm agent. That's what they do. They help people understand their insurance and not bug out about it. Ah! And they're like there when you need them. Now quit bugging and say the jingle.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Call Doodah Hudson State Farm in Litchfield, 270-287-0287.
Instagram is marking a major milestone with 3 billion monthly active users. Matt Mattinson has more.
Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg shared the achievement in a post to his Instagram account on Wednesday and applauded the incredible community that has been built. The photo-sharing app now joins the ranks of Facebook and WhatsApp, which crossed the 3 billion user mark earlier this year. The company last disclosed Instagram's user figures in October 2022, when Zuckerberg said during an earnings call that the app had crossed 2 billion monthly users.
Google is expanding its AI search function for Spanish-speaking users. On Tuesday, millions of people in dozens of countries began asking complex questions in their native language. Last month, Google released its AI mode in 180 nations as the company looks to roll out new features at a rapid pace. And President Trump is expected to sign a deal today that will allow a Chinese company to sell TikTok. That's according to White House sources who told NBC News the deal will facilitate the sale of the popular social media app to a group of American investors. Tech Report, I'm Mark Mayfield.
Rihanna, good girl going bad. Take 3, action. No clouds in my stones. Let it rain.
Today is Better Breakfast Day. It's Lumberjack Day. I guess that just means, wear a bunch of flannel. It's Human Resources Professional Day. Best way to celebrate that is just don't have to go to HR today. It's Love Note Day. Tomorrow, Ancestor Appreciation Day. Chocolate Milk Day is tomorrow. Crush a Can Day is tomorrow. Sunday, Good Neighbor Day, Strawberry Cream Pie Day, and Ask a Stupid Question Day on Sunday. So just knock yourself out asking all the stupid questions that you like.
Not to us, preferably.
Correct. Just stay away from me. Do it to, however many times you want, but find your own person to ask the dumb questions of. I don't know. I may ask a few dumb questions here over the next few minutes because I'm going to talk with Sam about the week in Cougar sports and also the week ahead, what's in store for tonight's trip. Cougars at Barron County tonight for what we lovingly refer to. Some games you play, they get called the toilet bowl, but this is the bathroom bowl. Correct?
Yeah. We'll be in the bathroom press box. So, the pro is that, as a broadcaster, one of the first things you look at when you get to a new location is you want to find where that bathroom is, because sometimes you have to make a mad dash and you need to plan, everything that needs to happen. But luckily for us is that I could theoretically, during one of our 1-minute breaks, I might have time to fly back there really quick and do it, which I'd never have the chance to do anywhere else.
And if it was dire, gravity's your friend in that case. So, it's just kind of one of those.
I don't think Jay Turner would probably appreciate if I did that in his press box, but
probably not. They so Sam mentioned it earlier in the week, but for those that weren't with us, when they designed, that's a relatively new stadium, right? They built a new school extension, and
I think 2018. I think I was the first year I went there was the first year it had been done.
But it was this. I remember at the time, it was the talk of they were early adopters and they were just building this great new facility, and then they went, we forgot to build a press box in the football stadium, so they had to make a last-minute architectural decision, and you have to go through the bathroom to get to the press box. That's basically the way that it is.
It's a fun thing for it, and we'll probably make a couple of jokes about it tonight, and I think they've probably heard them all. And
I'd say they have.
Luckily, it's spacious, which is always a good thing.
Yeah, it's not a bad place once you get to your perch. In more than 50 years of Cougar football, we have met up with Barron County in about half of those. We're what
26th all-time matchup between these
26.
two squads. Yeah, Trojans lead at 19-6, won the last matchup in 2022.
The last time they played was 2022. Of course, Grayson County's been in a different district for the last few years. Let's go back to last week. 42-19, the final score at Greenwood in the district opener, but you indicated on Monday it wasn't that close. I mean, it was closer than that.
Yeah, they played well, all things considered. I think, moral victories is not something that, Brian Jones is about at all. You either won or you're lost, but there are some positives to take from a game like that. I think you played pretty well. You had a lot of injuries, and hopefully you can build some of that confidence against a solid Greenwood team moving forward into this week against a Barron County team that is maybe a little closer to your level. They're probably still favored tonight, but I don't think you're going in feeling as much of an underdog as you were last week. Or as you will when Bowling Green rolls in here in a couple of weeks.
And you indicated that personnel-wise, you've already touched on the injuries, but also some personnel just missing that they had kind of were expecting. So been some real dynamics going on for them the last couple of weeks that they're trying to work through. You mentioned Bowling Green. I don't know what we can take away from that, but Barron County, being they, also lost their district opener last week.
Yeah, they lost to Bowling Green 48-7. The wildest part about that is last week was week 5. That was Bowling Green's first win of the season.
Really?
Yeah, now they've played a brutal schedule to open up, and then they, just keep it going by playing Cal tonight, who is quite possibly the best team in the state of Kentucky, maybe not named Trinity this year. Yeah. So, I mean, Bowling Green will be 1-5 probably tonight after tonight's games. And I know I'm looking forward to here in a couple of weeks when they come up. I'm going to have to go through the stats. I might have to talk to our friend Tim Wagner down at Bowling Green and say, hey, when's the last time they had a start that poor?
Yeah, I guess in their, they still feel like they're going to win their district, and they will be.
And they still are favored to win the district, but 1-5 Bowling Green, you don't see that very often at all.
No, that doesn't happen, and people probably don't like it any better, even though they don't understand the level of the level of competition they've been playing. Obviously, is very good. What do we need to know about? What are some names that we need to listen for tonight? Jamison Buster. Tell me about Jamison.
Yeah, Jamison's been playing really well for the Cougars this year. He was thrown into the backfield last week, and he's been seeing a little bit of that over the previous couple of weeks, but with some of the things that have happened around the team, they needed a running back, so he hopped back there, and this year he's averaging over 5 yards per carry and 9 yards per catch. So he's a great athlete, and he scored his first career touchdown last week on, they ran the triple option play to perfection, and he got the pitch and took it about 19 yards to the house.
Camden Cornwell is sort of the defensive tip of the spear.
Yeah, he's one of the leaders on that defense. 39 total tackles as a linebacker. He knows what they're doing, and also you can see him on the offensive side of the ball. He's had to line up at fullback at times as well, but he's taken a leadership role on that team for sure.
Obviously, and to your point, I'm seeing some names that I'm not accustomed to seeing or getting coverage or headlines. Buster was one of those, but Abersold is also one that had a couple nice plays last week.
Yeah, Bryce Abersold recovered 2 fumbles on muff punts, which is important. If you muff it, you want to be down there to grab it, and he made both of the plays for that. And he's turning into a weapon on offense as well. In fact, I was at JV last night very briefly before the volleyball game. I popped down, and I want to say he pulled in a long touchdown catch in that game as well, just trying to continuously find ways to get him the ball on offense.
Barron County is a program that is similar to Grayson County in that there are peaks and valleys throughout their history, although Grayson County's valleys have been probably deeper and longer than Barron County's. But Barron County is in a unique position where they lose a lot of their talent to Glasgow High School. So they have to split people in the community, and they end up with some they want, and they don't get some that they want. So there are similar arcs, but they've been on a peak the last couple of years.
Yeah, they're coming off only their second 10-win season in program history, and last year won their first playoff game since 1992. So that's a long time in between games. So they're similar to the Cougars in that realm. Having a couple of good seasons back to back, and I mean the most impressive part about that too is Barron for the last couple of years has been in 6A. So they've been playing up, and that district last year was tough with them. North Hardin, Central Hardin, and Warren Central, I think, was in that district with them. So they have high expectations again moving forward into this season.
Tell me about Briggs Harris.
He's their starting quarterback. Passed it a little less than 50 times. He's about 50% completion percentage, 334 yards and a touchdown. He's added 124 on the ground, but Dalen Thomas is the name we're going to be calling a lot. He's their main running back. He's rushed for just under 400 yards, 4 touchdowns. He's the guy that the Cougars are going to have to key on tonight. It's one of those things like it's similar to the past couple of years with Caden Hanshaw for the Cougars. You slow him down, you probably win. For Grayson County, if they find a way to slow down Dalen Thomas, they have a really good shot tonight.
So if they slow down Thomas, though, does that leave opportunities then for Jackson Bird?
Yeah, he's kind of their dual threat option, but not out of the quarterback position. He's got double-digit catches, double-digit rushes. One of those guys that you just find ways to get him the ball.
All right, so we'll circle back to your kickoff time and halftime and momentarily. Other big news of the week, the full Cougar boys basketball schedule got released this week. I think you had known most of it, but it got locked in and dialed in. Other than the King of the Bluegrass and the Marshall County Hoop Fest, were there any other standouts in the schedule?
Yeah, I mean, they're going to Lyon County.
Okay.
The first Saturday in February, I believe is what it is. So they're going to play the Lions that night. Travis Perry isn't walking through that door, but that's still a pretty solid squad. That'll be a fun trip. They're also playing a tournament at Henry County, which is, do you know where Henry County is?
Yeah, sure. I know where Henry County is.
We're looking forward to that. They've got a really historic gym, so that'll be a fun one to do. But their season opener, first game of the season, is that first Monday in December. They host Central Hardin, so a pretty good test right off the bat for the Cougars.
So they're going to start the season on a Monday?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they're starting on a Monday, and then the Lady Cougars will start that following day against McLean County.
Okay, so they're kind of inverted. A lot of times the girls are playing on Monday and the boys on Tuesday, but they're
the Cougars had to work around with some scheduling on that because they were supposed to be hosting another school, and that school said, "Yeah, we don't want to play you all anymore." First week of the season. So I'm not calling out any names.
When do you expect the Lady Cougar schedule to be released?
Hopefully we can have that in the next week or so.
All right, very good. Volleyball, you had them a couple of times. Coverage of them this week. We've already talked about them being victorious over Muhlenberg County, but you were down on campus last night.
Yeah, it was a great match last night. They defeated Whitesfield Trinity 3-1, and in the first set last night they were down 24-19. Which means, you're 1 point away from losing the set and came back and won 28-26, I think is what it was.
Wow.
So it was a pretty impressive win. And then the second one, Whitesfield Trinity took. The third one went into I call it overtime again, 27-25. And then the fourth one, Lady Cougars just cruised. I think 25-12 was it. But it was a really, really exciting match last night at the Cougar Den.
They'll be up and at it again early tomorrow?
9 a.m. tomorrow. They're going to be playing 3 matches at Ohio County. Listen, if you're wanting to do something and cheer on Grayson County, Ohio County, not a far trip at all. They're playing at 9, 10, and 11. So you'll be able to watch all 3 of those matches right in a row. And best part about that is that you're out of there by noon. You can grab yourself some lunch, and you still got the whole day and behind you there.
This time last week, we were kind of looking ahead to the boys soccer match against Edmonson County on Saturday morning, or on Saturday. They were victorious, and then how did the rest of their week go?
Yeah, they lost to Owensboro Catholic last night. Obviously, that's a tough squad no matter what it is. They will close the season on Tuesday against Russellville.
At Russellville on Tuesday. The girls got rained out during the game on Tuesday against Meade County. What do they have next?
Meade County on Tuesday.
Oh, okay.
Literally the same exact thing. So what happened is that was Tuesday of this. So you remember that storm kind of ripped through, and they moved the game up, hoping to get it in before the storm happened. They weren't so lucky.
Okay.
I think they made it just about 10 to 15 minutes before the end of the first half. And lightning came in, and it was one of those lightning, and finally got to the point where it was like, well, we're going to be here all night if we do this. So we'll come back and we'll do it on Tuesday. So they'll start that game with however much time was remaining in the first half. No score was in that game. And the winner of that game will get the number 1 seed in the district tournament, which will be held next Friday, I believe, is when they're going to do it. because fall break happens. They're trying to get it out of the way before fall break.
The cross-country team headed to the Hillbilly Run tomorrow, but what did they do last weekend?
Yeah, we touched on this a little bit earlier in the week, I believe. Levi Madsden was 15th to lead the boys, and Jesse Smith PR'd her way to a 40th place finish. I knew I had to put in there the Hillbilly Run because I know you're really excited about that tomorrow.
Just love the Hillbilly Run. Golf team, we mentioned this week that Ellie Cox is the region runner-up. Amelia Newton and Bree Jones advancing to semi-state next week, and they've got quite a journey to get there.
Yeah, we found out, too, this morning that they are going to be I have tee time. So they're at Pendleton Hills Country Club in Butler, Kentucky. Not Butler County, Butler, Kentucky, which is Pendleton County, which is up. I mean, I guess in this realm, it's up in my neck of the woods in northern Kentucky, but really it's one of those. It'd be like from my house growing up getting to McLean County. You got to want to get there. Like you got to go, through.
You don't just happen to go by it.
No, you don't. So the tee times for that on Monday, these are Eastern time. Bree Jones will tee off at 8:27. Amelia Newton will tee off at 8:45, and Ellie Cox will tee off at 9:03. So good luck to those three as they try to advance to the state championship, which is usually held in Bowling Green. I assume it's still the case.
Cougar Conversations tonight, basically a member of the family you'll have at halftime.
Mallory Thomas is going to be joining us. We had a really good conversation. She's done a lot of really cool things with her business of Quaid Films, and this is one that you will want to make sure you watch the full version of on YouTube, because there are so many good things, and I was like, I had to cut down some of it. I left it longer than I typically would because there was so much good stuff that I couldn't figure out what to cut, but remember to tune into the full version that will be released tomorrow. She talks about the relationship with her parents. Tonight she'll name some of her teachers that had an impact on her, and kind of teaching us what the process of wedding photography and photography in general is, because I think most people don't really know everything that goes into that.
Yeah, we all have a camera in our hands that we think, well, we'll just, click, and that's how you get your photos. A little more to it than that with the professional eye. K105 Digital Productions, you have what next week?
Tuesday will be volleyball against Edmonson County. I'm pretty sure that's senior night, so we'll look forward to that. That'll be a 7:30 scheduled first serve. But next week's football game is Thursday, so keep an eye on that. Not a Friday game next week, so when the Cougars travel to Ohio County, it will be a Thursday game. We'll make sure to push that tonight, but just as a reminder for that.
And as a reminder, we'll have your Cougar Sports Report on Thursday of next week. We'll be away on Friday. So tonight, Cougars at Barron County, locker room show, 6:30. Are you and Jay appearing on each other's broadcasts? Are you?
I think we're at odds, because he did beat. I don't know that I can. He probably doesn't want to stoop down to my level. He is the champ. I am not. So
Sportscaster of the year tonight. You get to go visit. Locker room show 6:30. Kickoff is at 7 live from G-Town. Say hello to all the Glasswegians over there, Sam. Got to get to a break. We'll come back. Got the weekend movie premieres. Today's Did You Know is straight ahead here on In the Know.
Discover the power of peace with Blanton Electric's Generac automatic standby generators. Tailored for those who refuse to be left in the dark, these generators promise unmatched reliability when the power grid fails. Enjoy flexible financing options and the assurance of seamless energy. And with Blanton Electric, you receive more than just power. You get Troy's expertise and a free quote, serving Grayson County and beyond with Generac generators. Call 270-723-0838 or visit BlantonElectricINC.com.
It's time to make important decisions about your Medicare prescription drug coverage. The Kentucky State Health Insurance Assistance Program provides free, unbiased guidance in selecting a Medicare Part D or Medicare Advantage plan. If you have questions or need help, the Kentucky State Health Insurance Assistance Program can guide you through the enrollment period, which ends December 7th. More information is available about Kentucky SHIP or how you can volunteer at 1-877-293-7447. That's 1-877-293-7447.
At Holiday World's Happy Halloween weekends, the fun never ends. In fact, it's been sweetened. As the sun sinks low, there's a thrill in the air. Thunderbird, Hollow Swings, ride if you dare. 500 drones in the sky start to swirl. Free soft drinks and candy, 'cause it's Holiday World.
Happy Halloween weekends are back at Holiday World through October 26th. All your Halloween favorites plus the all-new Dino Corn Maze. Get tickets at holidayworld.com.
This Friday night, the Grayson County Cougars hit the road for a district clash in Glasgow. At 2-3, the Cougars face the 2-3 Barron County Trojans, with both teams searching for their first district win of the season. Can Grayson bounce back and take control on the road, or will the Trojans defend their home turf? Find out Friday night live with our coverage. The Locker Room Show starts at 6:30. Kickoff is set for 7. Cougar football is only on K105.
Struggling with mortgage debt from COVID? Team Kentucky can help. If you restructured your home loan and deferred payments to the end of your mortgage, you may qualify for up to $60,000 in assistance to pay off that debt. Help is also available for other COVID-related hardships if you meet income guidelines. Apply today at www.protectmykyhome.org. This ad is sponsored by Kentucky Housing Corporation, the Kentucky Broadcasters Association, and this station.
David was in big trouble with the IRS.
At first, I didn't owe that much, but after this year, it was out of control.
Then David called Get a Tax Lawyer.
Right away, they were like, oh yeah, looks like you're qualified to save.
Get a Tax Lawyer went to work.
Should have called way sooner.
Get a Tax Lawyer has helped thousands like David fight the IRS and get a fresh start.
Call 800-745-3070. That's 800-745-3070.
If Ernest Hemingway was alive today, would he say this to you?
Shakespeare, Mark Twain, Edgar Allan Poe, all great writers. And after reading your book, I simply must add you to the list.
Wait, you don't have a book yet. So make a free call to Page Publishing. Turn your book idea into publishing gold.
800-215-6818. 800-215-6818. That's 800-215-6818.
K105 weather from the Wave Storm Tracking Team is brought to you by Smith Overhead Door, SOHD.info.
Twin Lakes weather.
What a gorgeous first weekend of fall for the area. I'm loving this. Temperatures today will be topping out close to 80. A lot of you will fall short of that mark and stay in the 70s. So right on par for where we should be for the first weekend of fall here in the Ohio Valley. We'll take it. Tonight will stay mainly clear. A little bit of valley fog possible. Lows in the 50s. Sunshine's back tomorrow for the Wave Storm Tracking Team. I'm Brian Good.
Don't miss the hottest songs in the country on American Top 40 this weekend. We catch up with Josh Duhamel and hear about his new movie, London Calling. And we'll find out if Alex Warren can extend his stay at number 1. It all goes down this weekend on American Top 40.
This here's a jam for all the fellas.
Did you know Levi Strauss named his invention waist overalls in 1873? The name blue jeans didn't catch on until the mid-1960s. So they had coverall, like overalls, and then they took the top off and just made them waist, and he called them waist coveralls.
Interesting.
I didn't know that. That's kind of weird. At the movie theater today, new in cinema, One Battle After Another. It's an R-rated mystery thriller. Leonardo DiCaprio, Sean Penn, and Benicio del Toro. Also opening The Strangers Chapter 2, an R-rated horror mystery. And for the families and kids, G-rated Gabby's Dollhouse, the movie. That's Kristen Wiig, Gloria Estefan is in it as well. So I don't know what role she plays. Double Did You Know? I've got a bonus Did You Know for you, Sam. Did you know that today is the 25th anniversary of the Grayson County Alliance?
I did. I just saw the Colonel leave us a comment to let us know. I was going to bring it up during your highlight in history because I feel like that is the highlight in history for today. But
they've been doing a lot of good work for a quarter of a century now in our community, so congratulations to them. I have a feeling I may see her later today, so
Quacky might be partying it up tonight.
Give her the proper salute. Speaking of movies, there's a new report out that says the next James Bond will be an unknown, younger British actor, and I applaud this decision. American audiences didn't know who Daniel Craig was when he became Bond, and he used his Bond then to land into other things like Knives Out and just, other good roles that he's done. He's done some stage work as well. But he's Bond first. I always had a problem with Pierce Brosnan as Bond because he was Remington Steele first. So it's like, who's this guy that's Remington Steele trying to play Bond? So for American audiences, a younger British actor who we don't know will step into the Bond role, make it their own, and then extend the franchise off into the they're going to film the next one 2027. I think it'll be out in 2028. Sam, if you can manage a British accent, you might be in the running to land the Bond role.
I don't think so. I'm probably a little too young.
The Swifties are going to be delighted that Taylor Swift will appear on Jimmy Fallon on October 6th. Her new album drops a couple of days before that. She's going to be on Jimmy Fallon. So I'm sure
that's a big get for him.
It is a big get for him. And then you might have heard a rumor that William Shatner had to be rushed to the hospital, that he was in failing health, and they were worried about him. He's age 94, so it wouldn't have been that much of a surprise. But he has dismissed the hospitalization reports. He says that he is perfectly fine. So it's good news to hear about Captain Kirk himself. Got to get to a break. We will come back. We'll have Point to Ponder. We'll have Pearl of Wisdom, Chart Toppers, and more coming up. You're on In the Know.
You know it, and I know it. Words can be hurtful. They can pierce someone's heart and leave behind damage that, well, it never heals. But how do you teach that to a young child in a way they'll understand it? Try showing them. Here's a tip from one mom who utilized a few things that you probably have in your garage. She gave her children a piece of wood, some nails, and a hammer. And with her supervision, she had the kids hammer the nails into the wood while repeating the comments she had heard them say to others. A few of the words were downright mean. Other words the children had dismissed as humorous. They didn't understand how hurtful jokes could be at someone else's expense. Once the nails were in the wood, she had the kids use the claw part of the hammer to pull a few of the nails back out. Of course, the children discovered that even though the nails had been removed, the damage the nails created remained. It's a visual example children can understand about the lasting effects of their words. Once something hurtful has been said, the pain that's caused will still be there, even if the child tries to take the words back. And the nails that couldn't be removed taught another valuable lesson. You can't simply take back hurtful words. An apology doesn't always fix the pain our words can cause. Give this object lesson a try. It's a helpful way to encourage children to think carefully before they say something hurtful to their friends or siblings. For Focus on the Family, I'm Jim Daly.
The words you are about to hear are taken from letters sent in by members of the Trinity Debt Management Program.
Dear Trinity, today I'm making my final credit card payment.
Before I came to you, I was in a constant state of anxiety and panic, but now there is hope for my family's financial future.
Working with Trinity made me understand that I'm not alone.
You really do help people.
Your kindness will never be forgotten. Without Trinity's support, I would not have achieved my lifelong goal of becoming debt-free.
We saved a lot on interest and penalties, of course, but the reward was the gift of human kindness.
Trinity has carried me through a very difficult time in my life. You're amazing.
I used to feel so anxious and hopeless. Now I feel grace and peace.
God bless Trinity as you continue to help others become debt-free.
If credit card debt has you down, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976. That's 1-800-990-6976.
David was in big trouble with the IRS.
At first, I didn't owe that much, but after this year, it was out of control.
Then David called Get a Tax Lawyer.
Right away, they were like, oh yeah, looks like you're qualified to save.
Get a Tax Lawyer went to work.
Should have called way sooner.
Get a Tax Lawyer has helped thousands like David fight the IRS and get a fresh start.
Call 800-745-3070. That's 800-745-3070.
If Ernest Hemingway was alive today, would he say this to you?
Shakespeare, Mark Twain, Edgar Allan Poe, all great writers. And after reading your book, I simply must add you to the list.
Wait, you don't have a book yet. So make a free call to Page Publishing. Turn your book idea into publishing gold.
800-215-6818. 800-215-6818. That's 800-215-6818.
Rolling, yeah. Rolling. Rolling on the river. Rolling on the river. I left a good job in the city, working for the man.
MB's Point to Ponder for today. What classic movie that everyone has seen have you not seen?
No.
I know you've seen it. There are a few in mind, but is there one at the top of the list that you're
there's
most
so
surprised?
many. Well, just give me a classic movie and I'll say if I've seen it.
Gone with the Wind.
No.
I have. Mine is going to be Jurassic Park.
I've never seen that.
That's the one that from my era, living more than a half century.
Well, you've never seen Shrek, right?
No, I've not seen Shrek. I don't know that I would.
That's a more of a cinematic masterpiece than anything else.
Well, I don't know. Steven Spielberg might argue with you on
Mike Myers, Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's good. I guess I'm a little bit. It's outside the Disney sphere. Was Jurassic Park Michael Crichton? Yeah, I don't think it's Spielberg. Might have been. He might.
I think it's Spielberg.
Well, I've seen, for someone who has seen most of Steven Spielberg's other work, or of those 80s classics that it turned into at least a trilogy and a reboot. I think that's the one that surprises me the most that I've never seen. Gone with the Wind.
It is Spielberg. It is Spielberg, and it was written by Michael Crichton.
Okay, so that's where I'm getting the two things.
Because Michael Crichton wrote the book.
Ah, okay. Very, very good. Let's come up with a more modern example. Let's, if a movie that a movie that is now considered a classic from your 14 to 21 years of age that you've not seen, that's considered a classic.
Gosh. Again, because I'm not a movie guy, that I've never seen Frozen.
All right,
does that count?
That's probably good one, yeah.
Because you got to think my age group, I completely missed that, and without having like a little sister or a daughter, obviously, then I've never really had a reason to sit down and watch that. So does that count?
Yes, it does count. And in fact, I didn't see Frozen until about 7 years ago. So.
And how many times have you watched it since then?
There's no telling. There's no telling how. Because Wicked this year and then Frozen 3 next year. It's my understanding. Okay. On TV tonight, it's going to be a busy weekend of television. Celebrity Wheel of Fortune is tonight. 2020 season premieres tonight. Tomorrow, season premiere of 48 Hours. Inside the Airport, Lost and Found on Nat Geo. That's a series premiere. I think that would be fun. Show stuff that has been lost and found at the airport. The Simpsons season premiere on Sunday. Big Brother season finale on Sunday. NFL football, the Packers at the Cowboys on Sunday night. And I presume 60 Minutes and some of the others. I don't know if Fire Country and the typical CBS lineup will be new this week or not. But Cougar football tonight, Sam.
Yep, Cougars and Trojans. Coverage will begin. Locker room show at 6:30. Kickoff is at 7. Of course, join us for the locker room show. We'll talk to Coach Jones. And looking forward to hopefully getting the Cougars back on the winning track. A win today, and you're pretty much in the playoffs, unless things get a little weird. So that's the way you got to do it. So hopefully they can pick up a big win.
Today's highlight in history, this date in 1960, the first nationally televised debate between presidential candidates took place as John F. Kennedy and Richard Nixon faced off in Chicago. And Kennedy being the younger, and he was like leaning into technology a little bit more and understood. He held up very well. He was very good looking and charismatic. Richard Nixon was hot and sweaty, and it was terrible for Nixon. It was great for Kennedy. Birthdays today: Linda Hamilton is 69, Melissa Sue Anderson is 63, Jim Caviezel is 57, Sean Stockman from Boyz II Men, 53, Serena Williams is 44, and actor Zoe Perry is 42. Gone but not forgotten: Johnny Appleseed in 1774, T.S. Eliot in 1888, George Gershwin in 1898, Jack LaLanne in 1914, Donna Douglas in 1933. You say, who is that? That's Ellie Mae Clampett on the Beverly Hillbillies. Lynn Anderson, Miss Rose Garden herself, born in 1947. And Olivia Newton-John was born this date in 1948. Remember I said that, okay?
Zoe Perry, that's mom on Young Sheldon, right?
I think that's not the mom on Young Sheldon. The mom on Young Sheldon is the daughter.
Yes, I'm right.
That's her name, Zoe Perry? I didn't realize that.
Yes, her mom is Lori Metcalf.
Yes. Well, not having the last names, that's what I didn't understand. Like, wait a minute. Chart toppers.
Well,
Sam
her
Cooke was number one.
Her dad is Jeff Perry, who was on Scandal, Nash Bridges. Don't know that one. Grey's Anatomy and so on.
I didn't watch Nash Bridges, but I do remember the show. 1969, CCR number one with Green River. I guess you'll cross the Green River later today.
Yes, we will.
Let's go.
It'd be hard to get to Glasgow without crossing it.
I guess you'll cross it twice, actually.
Hopefully.
Once over and once back. On her birthday, Olivia Newton-John was number one in 1978 with Hopelessly Devoted to You from the Grease soundtrack. All right, let's go forward to the video that made Tawny Katane a star. David Coverdale and Whitesnake with Here I Go Again.
This is on the Misty Thomas playlist, right?
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah. I think it's on every 80s kids playlist. See, none of us knew David Coverdale with Deep Purple, so when he came back with Whitesnake, it was like, hey, this is cool. 1996, Los Del Rio and Macarena. All right, let's go. I think you know how that song goes. In 2005, Rihanna's first big hit, Honda Replay.
20 years ago, wow.
20 years ago. Also on the country chart that day, an artist I really like. I like Sarah Evans. Real Fine Place to Start was number one 20 years ago today. All right, let's go. I think you'll recognize this song. 11 years ago today. Okay, and let's go to 2 years ago today. Doja Cat, number one, with Paint the Town Red.
Well, when you played Shake It Off, George, when he hosted with us a couple of weeks ago, he was having everyone tell songs from their senior year of high school, and that was the one that came to mind for me because that was huge. And I don't think he liked me making that song my senior year of high school.
If you wanted to make an old person feel older, there you go. That's how you do it. But hey, don't ask questions you're not prepared for the answers to hear.
Well,
the answers
he didn't ask me for a couple of days, and I think that was probably the reason why, is that he didn't want to.
I don't blame him one bit. MB's Pearl of Wisdom for today says, joy is not in things, it is in us. Joy is not in things, it is in us. MB's Pearl of Wisdom for today. Remember, God loves you, and I do too. If you don't know Jesus, let me know and I'll introduce you. Look forward to seeing you back here on Monday for another edition of our show. For Sam Gormley, I'm MB, and now you're in the know.
The Twin Lakes Best Mix is WKHG, Litchfield. The Twin Lakes Best Mix, K105.